Guys, what's going on? I hope you guys are well. I hope you guys are staying safe. I hope everything's good wherever you are. Guys, I've got some interesting news, which I'm pretty sure you guys are going to have a lot to say in the comment section. Smash the like button, guys, as always. You guys know what to do. Smash that like button. So, yeah, guys, Ryan Garcia has made some... It's fair to say there's no love lost between him and Canelo. He says, Ryan Garcia says Canelo lost to Bivol because he's better. Size had nothing to do with it. This is what Ryan Garcia had to say. This is an article with a Boxing News 24/7. Check Boxing News 24/7 out. These are they have some of the best content out there. This is what Mr. Ryan Garcia had to say. Ryan says it was honorable that he got in there with a guy that was much bigger and he took that risk. I will say that I don't think Canelo lost because the guy was bigger. I thought he lost because the guy was better technically and boxing-wise. Ryan said about his belief that Bivol beat Canelo due to his ability, not his size. I just thought he fought a great fight and he was the better man. I think he would beat him again. I was surprised at how calm Bivol was the whole time around, but he's not an emotional fighter. You have to be a non-emotional fighter. He knew that if he just won, it would be a big statement. He didn't have to go a knockout. He fought really well. He didn't get greedy. Ryan, being calm, being consistent in the gym and carrying yourself in a certain way as a champion, said Ryan when asked about Canelo. We just had some differences. I'm a man. I don't mind saying whatever he had to say. He said his piece and I said mine. I hope the best for him, said Ryan. So there you go. It's fair to say that Ryan Garcia, although, look, I might agree with what Ryan's saying here. And people may say, Imran, really? Do I think Bivol is better? Do I think Canelo lost to Bivol due to size? I think that played a massive factor. Because if you shrink Bivol down to Canelo's size, he doesn't have the advantages that he has. The size, the reach plays. Yes, Bivol was able to use that to his advantage, and he used that size, the advantages he had. But if he didn't have those, then how would he fight Canelo? It's a completely different fight. If he doesn't have the reach, he doesn't have the height over Canelo, then all of a sudden the fight's a lot different. You know? So this is what I'm saying. The reach, the height makes a big difference. And Bivol knew how to use those attributes or use those physical advantages he had. But if you don't have them, then how are you going to approach the fight? What are you going to do? And this is what I'm trying to say. Although I agree in the sense that Canelo Alvarez has fought guys bigger than Bivol. Probably guys with bigger reach. Like Callum Smith was massive. Callum Smith wasn't small. He was huge. Canelo totally dominated him. So size had nothing to do in that because Callum Smith's skills weren't similar to Bivol's skills. Bivol had the not just the size, but the skills to trouble and beat Canelo. And personally, I agree with Ryan. I would pick Bivol to beat Canelo again. Now, there is a way for Canelo to beat Bivol. I just don't know whether Canelo can execute that. And I'll say this. For me, Canelo Alvarez has got a very high boxing IQ. If Canelo Alvarez could have beaten Dmitry Bivol, he would have beaten him in that fight. Because Canelo always finds a way to win. If you look at all of his fights, he generally finds a way to win. Right? Even when he might be up against it or he may be down or whatever, he finds a way to pull it out. Right? That's been... Or he finds a way to make the fight very close. You know? Like even the Golovkin, I know people say, well, he lost to Golovkin. No, they were close fights. The same with the Lara fight. It was a close fight. This wasn't a close fight. This was pretty overwhelmingly in Bivol's favor. This is probably the fight where I would say Canelo was probably dominated. Not as much as he was dominated against Mayweather because, you know, against Bivol, he had success in the fight for sure. He won a couple of rounds, but it was a 9-3 type of fight. I don't know whether Canelo can make the adjustments. Maybe, look, the other thing is he could have underestimated Dmitry Bivol. He could have underestimated Dmitry Bivol, and in the rematch, his preparation may be thorough. You know, he may be able to change a few things. But look, I don't know. Look, I think Bivol's attributes, I also think that I made a mess up in the sense that I said that Bivol's not really a big puncher. He is a puncher. He can punch. I'm not saying he's a knockout artist, but he can punch. And you could tell when he was putting those punches together, when Canelo was on the ropes, you could tell from Canelo's body language that this guy can crack. And I said that Bivol's style would cause Canelo issues, but if Bivol doesn't have the power, how's he going to keep Canelo off? That was obviously proved wrong, because Bivol had the power to keep Canelo off. So Canelo was worried about the punching power of Dmitry Bivol. Hence why he didn't go gung-ho, because he knew this guy can punch. Because when Bivol would throw punches, he threw punches in clusters, and you could tell from Canelo's face, just his body language showed that this guy is got power, right? So I don't know whether, I feel like if Canelo Alvarez could have beaten Bivol, he would have beaten him during the first fight. I don't know whether Canelo Alvarez can make the adjustments, but this is what makes this rematch a beauty, because I want to see if Canelo Alvarez can come back and defeat someone like this, because for me, Bivol's style is horrible for Canelo. It's potentially all wrong, so Canelo would have his work cut out in this fight. So although what he might be saying, do I think that Bivol is better than Canelo? No. Because you can't tell me a guy that's moving up 4 weight classes, right, than a guy that's just fighting in 1 weight class, right? That's wrong. That's nonsense. That's nonsense, because Canelo Alvarez is much smaller, so he's had to move up, and he's fighting a naturally much bigger man. The fact that he's beaten much naturally bigger men, that's to the credit of Canelo, and adds to the greatness of Canelo. But the fact is, when you're fighting someone as skilled and someone as great as Dmitry Bivol, who's far bigger than you, and then's got the skills that he's got, that is a big disadvantage. Canelo's giving up a lot of weight, a lot of height, a lot of reach, and when you come up against a top fighter like Bivol, it's a very difficult fight, So personally, for me, I still wouldn't say pound for pound Bivol is better than Canelo. No. But do I think stylistically he's all wrong and he'll beat Canelo again? Yes, I genuinely do think that Bivol will beat Canelo again after watching that. Because I don't know whether Canelo can make the adjustments on a guy this good, this big. Look, there's not many guys. And what people, I know some of you may get upset by me saying this. There's not many guys, that are able to fight somebody in their prime, this big, this skilled, and beat them, irrespective of how good they are. Mayweather never fought anybody this much bigger than him, like height-wise, reach-wise, and Mayweather was a very, very great fighter. This big, this tall, this in their prime, in their physical prime, right? Like this. This is a very difficult task for Canelo Alvarez. And after watching the first fight, I wouldn't be picking Canelo in that one. If Canelo would shock me, and this is why, and the other reason I'm saying that he'll lose to Bivol in the rematch is because if Canelo wins the rematch against Bivol, I want to give him credit. I don't think he'll beat Bivol in the rematch, but if he does, I want to give him credit. I don't want to say Canelo wins the rematch and Canelo does this. No, because I feel like if he does, then he doesn't get the credit that he deserves. So if he does win against Bivol, then we all should give him the credit, right? As much as we criticize him now, as much as some of his own Mexican fans criticized him for saying that, he didn't bite down on the gum shield. If he wins the rematch, I want all of you guys to come out and praise Canelo. And even the guys, my man James Deere, my man, Reynold Powell, if he beats Bivol in the rematch, don't make some kind of excuse then. He was this, he was on this, or he was doing this, or he was doing this. Give Canelo his props. Because if Canelo beats Bivol in the rematch, then give him his due. Give him his credit. Don't just say, or just make another reason. And because he doesn't seem to get a lot of credit. It feels like other fighters get more credit than he gets. Right? So if he beats Bivol in the rematch, right, I expect some credit. But that being said, right, I think Bivol is a horrible style for Canelo. Is Ryan Ryan saying that Bivol is better? Does he really believe that, or is he having a dig? Personally, I think he's a bit of both. I actually think he's having a dig. Ryan Garcia even said after he tweeted after, the fight and saying, oh, well, the more dedicated fighter won. And then he openly admitted that, yeah, I'm having a dig at Canelo. I'm having a dig at Canelo because Canelo had a dig at me. Like, for me, like, I think that's, look, here's the thing with me and this younger generation. I feel like a lot of them can sometimes be pretty disrespectful. I go back to Ryan Garcia. I remember Amir Khan said something about Ryan Garcia, exactly what Canelo said, that he needs to be a bit more dedicated, forget all this showbiz life. And maybe Amir Khan was telling it from his own experience, because Amir Khan himself made that mistake of being in the showbiz and celebrity. Remember, Amir Khan was a massive star, especially here in the UK. Even in America, when he was in his prime, his name was all over. He fought in Las Vegas. Amir Khan fought in Las Vegas, Hamilton, and he was giving Ryan Garcia some advice. And Ryan Garcia took that in such a wrong way. I saw Ryan Garcia totally rinsing Khan. Oh, he quit against Crawford. Oh, he was knocked out by Bradis Prescott. What the hell was that? Literally rinsing Khan. I was like, bro, this guy was a 17-year-old Olympic silver medalist and a unified world champion. You've never even been a world champion. And imagine if Ryan Garcia becomes a world champion. Imagine how much he'd be piping up. Like, these are guys that are very successful. Forget about, look, Canelo. Ryan Garcia hasn't even achieved the 10th of what Amir Khan did, let alone Canelo. Canelo was giving you advice, not because he hates you. He was giving you advice because he cares for you, because he wants you to do well. He wasn't taking a dig at you. Ryan Garcia is no competition to Canelo, is he? What competition is Ryan Garcia to Canelo? No competition. He's no competition. In terms of legacy, Canelo's an all-time great. He's going to go down an all-time great. Ryan Garcia is not anywhere near that. We don't even know if he's world-class at this point. Let alone an all-time great. So when he made those comments again about Amir Khan, I realized that a lot of these, and then Devin Haney was the same. Remember, Khan said something about Haney. I don't know. I can't remember. And Haney reacted, oh, yes, I want to fight Khan. And I was like, yo, man, these guys are I understand that, but there's a bit of respect in the sense that if there's somebody that is in my field that's achieved more than me, it's like if I was an accountant and there was a senior accountant, somebody that's achieved more than me in that field, I need to respect and value their opinion because they've achieved more than what I have. Yeah, I might think I'm going to get there one day, but you haven't got there. They've been there. So when you get advice, I'm not saying listen to every advice, especially coming from someone like Canelo. I don't think Canelo had any kind of malice in what he was saying. He was generally trying to, in my opinion, maybe trying to motivate Ryan, but Ryan took it completely the wrong way. He's like, I'm a man. I don't think Canelo Alvarez meant any hurt towards Ryan. I genuinely don't think he meant it, but Ryan Garcia took it completely, I think, the wrong way, where he felt Canelo was having a dig at him, and he clearly wasn't. And I remember Canelo actually got asked about it, and Canelo totally dismissed it and just said, I don't want to talk about it anymore. I wish him all the best, because I think Canelo just thought that this guy is getting in a back and forth with me, and I don't need it. Like, no disrespect to Ryan, he's no competition to Canelo. Canelo doesn't look at Ryan as competition. I think he was looking at him as like a little brother and just saying, like, I'm trying to give you advice. There wasn't no malice there, but like maybe there was a misunderstanding between the two. I don't know, but I just felt like Ryan should have probably brushed it off, rather than coming out. And also, I feel like Ryan could have been around Canelo. I felt Ryan could have used a lot of Canelo's popularity, fan base to get it on himself. He could have become even bigger, because as much as Ryan Garcia has all this popularity, he's not on pay-per-view. He's not doing any pay-per-view shows. He's not that big a star in terms of selling pay-per-views. Canelo sells 600,000-700,000 pay-per-view. He has 600,000-700,000 pay-per-view buys every time he fights. So the point I'm trying to make is that, you could have used Canelo Alvarez's fans to get on your back, and they were. A lot of Canelo fans, now Canelo fans are against Ryan. because of the comments that he's made. Because basically now they're all saying, oh, Ryan's this, Ryan's that. Whereas really, Ryan could have used Canelo's popularity to benefit him. But instead it's kind of ended. I won't say ended sour. I'm pretty sure in years to come they'll meet and they hug it out and settle the differences or whatever. But there might not be any differences. But I'm surprised, even for Ryan to say I think he'll beat him the second time, even though he's probably being honest. And but I think if he was with Canelo, would he be saying that? If he was in that camp, would he be saying that? Probably not. So this is a guy that once was such a big fan and saying, oh, Canelo's like my this, that, and the other, and now all of a sudden he's is making these comments where you can clearly see that the relationship's gone a bit sour, which is never good to see. But at the end of the day, Canelo Alvarez, I'm pretty sure isn't losing any sleep, and I don't think Ryan's losing any sleep, and I don't think Canelo Alvarez will talk about Ryan again, to be honest with you. I think he genuinely was probably doing it to help him, and I don't think because I think he could probably have noticed that with some of the comments that Ryan made that he obviously wasn't happy, and he probably thinks, forget it, if he can do what he wants. But we'll have to wait and see. Time will tell about Ryan Garcia, where he goes. He's got a lot, he's got a fight with Javier Fortuna. Let's see how his career plays out. Look, I like Ryan Garcia. I think he's a breath of fresh air. I think he's a good fighter. I hope he can fulfill his potential. I think he's a really top fighter. I do. I just think that, he's got flaws. If he can work on them with Joe Goosen and improve that, and then, Ryan Garcia may be a star. But we'll have to wait and see. We'll have to wait and see. But what do you guys make of this? Do you think Ryan's got a point here where he's saying Dmitry Bivol is better than Canelo Alvarez? It has nothing to do with size. Personally, I don't agree with that. I do think that Bivol has a style that's horribly wrong. But I think the reason his style is horribly wrong is due to his size as well, not just his skill set. His size makes a big difference. Because all of a sudden, if you shrink somebody down to Canelo Alvarez's size, they're not going to have the reach and height to do that. Canelo might be able to beat you to the jab. This is what I'm trying to say. Because Canelo is also very fast in terms of hand speed. He's very fast. So Canelo can beat you. So for example, when Canelo fought Amir Khan, Canelo Alvarez also the fact that Bivol is bigger, he's able to absorb more. If Bivol was Canelo's size, he might not be able to absorb the shots that Canelo was landing. Do you see what I mean? So size and right, all of that plays a big advantage in boxing. It's at the end of the day, it's physical combat. If you're going in the ring with somebody that's bigger than you, they're generally gonna have a very good chance of beating you, especially if they've got skills on that as well. So I don't agree with. I do think Bivol's style is wrong, and I think he'll beat Canelo again. But to say that Bivol is better than Canelo, I think that's totally wrong, because Canelo's a four division world champion. He's been an undisputed world champion at super middleweight. I don't think you can say a guy that just holds one belt at WBA at light heavyweight has done enough to be considered anywhere near Canelo. Yes, his style might be naturally wrong. Look, Muhammad Ali got beat by him. I know on paper he didn't, but really a lot of people think he was beaten by Ken Norton 3 times. But nobody thinks that Ken Norton is a better fighter than Muhammad Ali, So that's what it is. Muhammad Ali was also, if I'm not mistaken, lost to Leon Spinks. I know we beat Leon Spinks in the rematch, but the fact of the matter is that doesn't mean Leon Spinks is better than Muhammad Ali, or it doesn't mean that Ken Norton gave, Muhammad Ali problem all 3 times, when most people thinking that Muhammad Ali lost all 3 times. Does that mean Ken Norton is better than Muhammad Ali? Absolutely not. It just means stylistically he has a style that's all wrong, but that doesn't mean you're better than somebody. Do you know what I mean? Because better is what you achieve in the sport, what you do, your achievements. And especially Ken Norton was the same size as Muhammad Ali. Like Ken Norton was a heavyweight, and Muhammad Ali was a heavyweight. But this is a guy we're talking about a guy that came from welterweight to 175. That's a big jump. So I think that plays a big part. Size plays a big part. So that's my take anyway. Leave your thoughts. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. What do you make of Ryan Garcia's comments? What do you make of all the stuff that I've mentioned in here? Smash the like button, hit the subscribe button, guys. Share the video as always. And yeah, I'll be pushing these videos out to you guys. pushing these videos out. Keep, like I said, leaving comments in the comment section. Join all my other social media platforms as well. You know, my Facebook, my Instagram, my Twitter. Join all the platforms. All of them are in the description below. So all you have to do is click on them, and then you can go and follow me on the different social media platforms as well. So because I always upload all my videos to all the social media platforms, or on Instagram, I'll put out a link on story. Not a link, but a message on story that a new video has been uploaded on YouTube. So yeah, join all my social media platform, guys, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.